Hi,
Hi.
we're live for the Kings and we are back with another video. I'm Daniel King.
And I am Alandra King.
And yes, today's video is about what?
It is about the fear of Africa and why our people, because that's who we're focused on, our people have such a fear of the continent, the motherland.
I definitely get a lot of comments on our page of people that just have a fear of Africa, and they try to portray that fear onto us or project that fear onto us, and it just made me realize how serious the issue is. Being out here in Ghana and being with people that come out in Ghana, we don't really see that side of it, but we saw a lot of it when we was in the UK. So I guess I just kind of forgot that people think like that because we're here.
It's a mentality that we evolved out of. To be fair, I'm not sure I ever really had that mentality.
No.
I've never had any negative experiences prior to moving here in regards to, African people, because growing up, we never classified ourselves as African.
No.
We classified ourselves as Caribbean or West Indian or Jamaican, right? Or even British. But yeah, we never had any negative experiences in regards to Africa.
I think there was that division though. If I remember back in school, my time in the 80s, in school there was that division. So when like the African countries or the African people started to come over and integrate into the schools, the immigrants started to come into the schools, I remember there's that division.
There was.
Do you know what I mean?
That was when we first experienced, like, oh, hang on a minute. You look like me, but you're not like me. You have a different culture, different language, dialect, everything is different about you. And especially coming from, people of
Caribbean background.
Right, exactly. And then starting to discover that, oh, hang on, we're descendant of slavery. And knowing that, oh, these are the people that were where we were before we were slaves, and just putting those things together.
And it went both ways. It was like, oh my God, they're Africans, and they came over with a mentality, and you guys are slaves.
That is exactly what it was.
And there was that division that was a negative division, but I've seen over the years it kind of merged, and it's not there as much.
In the older generation, though, it definitely is.
Oh, definitely.
It is. Yeah, like we had to adapt. Obviously, as children, it's very easy to do that. You adapt and you just, what's the word? You integrate. Yeah, because you become friends, and you realize, oh, actually, we're
all the same.
Exactly. But what I found where the struggle lied was with like my grandparents. That generation. Like them just not wanting...
Stuck in their ways, right?
Them not wanting us to date outside of our culture. There was a lot of prejudice towards African people in general. And I noticed that growing up and in my early adult life. And I'll be honest, I didn't get it. I was just like, oh, come on. I thought we had evolved past this.
And then I think, I can actually see where the gap widened between me and the older generation. Not because we were in school with them and bonding and integrating, just because of, growing up and researching and not allowing, we weren't so easily influenced by the media. Do you know what I mean? As our generation. I think that was the beginning of the generation that started a bit rebellious. So we started to rebel against, okay, the news said that, but that don't mean it's true. I don't believe the Tarzan movies. Do you know what I mean? I'm not believing, what they're giving you on the nature programs or the movies or whatever the case may be that may represent or present Africa in a certain way. Okay, so let's get on with it because we've got a lot of notes written down. We will be reading from our notes some parts, and then we're just gonna vibe with you on each part. So the fear of Africa is a complex phenomenon that stems from a mix of historical, psychological, cultural, and media influences, like we said. This fear is sometimes called Afrophobia. I just found that out when I was doing my research. I didn't even know Afrophobia or African phobia. The fear of Africa is beyond me. But anyway, can manifest in various ways, including negative perceptions, stereotypes, and misconceptions about Africa as a continent, its people, and its culture. Several factors to contribute to this fear are.
Okay.
Wanna go?
Number one. All right. So during the colonial era, during the colonial era, European colonizers propagated myths and stereotypes. So they lied, okay, to justify their exploitation of African people and our resources. So Africa was often portrayed as a dark, primitive, or uncivilized continent, and these narratives, lies, became deeply embedded in the Western consciousness, and then, therefore, became deeply embedded in our consciousness because we were raised in the West.
And just like I said, the Tarzan movies, all of these movies that used to, portray Africa as primitive, as, Africans used to swing from trees, they eat monkeys, and all of these, outrageous accusations was to justify, like they said, to justify actually what they were doing in Africa, to keep us away.
The exploitation.
Yeah. So colonial systems fueled by their own fear of Africans imposed racial hierarchies such as white supremacy that devalued African people, culture, languages, and societies, creating long-standing fears of Africa as a place of backwardness and danger. So white supremacy didn't only, kind of like create a supremacy over the color white, but it also devalued, African people.
Anything that wasn't white.
Yeah, anything that wasn't white was bad.
Yeah.
So white was up
or
here.
Dark, or
anything that wasn't white or seen as pure in those times was obviously dark. When actually they were the dark ones, with their actions and the colonization
and the mentality,
right, of Africa,
and therefore how they were the dehumanization of its people, of African people. And we know this because, first of all, we wear the trauma of it, but not only that, there's proof. They themselves have written about it in books and given in detailed diagrams of the inhumane torture and complete. I think the right word is just the dehumanization. Some of the things that they did under the guise of white supremacy is absolutely,
and science,
it's just you can't believe that anyone could be so evil, so wicked, but yeah.
Then they have this, when it comes to science, you think, oh, science, it must be true. Do you know what I mean? Especially as a child in school, if it's scientifically proven, then you just assume that it's true.
Yeah.
And they used to scientifically say that, we were less than. Do you know what I mean? We were less than, that black people were less than. I remember that study of the African skull and how they used to compare us to apes and all of these things. And this was scientific proven, so they say. Do you know what I mean? So all of these things added to, that misconception, or that, just that propaganda, really.
And I prefer the word lie, because a lie is a lie, right? And the truth is the truth. It's just a lie.
Spin,
what they did,
lie,
yeah. And so, praise the Father, because He's revealing the truth. And actually what we understand now, or we're beginning to understand, and I'm not a professor, okay? I'm not well versed in this. However, please do your own research, because there is real scientific studies, facts, truth, in that the DNA of the West, those who have the mentality of white supremacy, there's scientifically proven evidence that actually the opposite is true.
It's the reverse.
It's actually the reverse, guys. You know, do your own research. Don't take my word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's certain genes that prove that, if anything,
I mean, let's just say, you know,
let me finish it, because if anything, there is an inferiority complex that is really taking place. And what do people do when they feel or know that they're inferior? They have to overcompensate a lot of the time. And that is what white supremacy was birthed from, an inferiority complex.
Yeah, trying to overcompensate for
Yeah.
that. And in a nutshell, just go and Google the Eve gene. You know, the melanated woman carries the Eve gene where the Caucasian woman doesn't. And, you know, research on that one. So Western media has historically portrayed Africa through a narrow lens, focusing on war, poverty, disease, and corruption. While these issues exist in some parts of Africa and the rest of the world, this is one-dimensional. It's a one-dimensional portrayal, and it creates a skewed image, making people fear the continent or assume it is unsafe and unstable. Meanwhile, the same people that portray this narrative are the same people that are here. These are the people that, you know, are telling you don't go there, but they go there themselves.
Yeah.
As an experiment, go to the airport, or if you're close to an airport one day, and just have a look, you know, at the desks of the African airlines or the airlines that are going to Africa, and have a look at the people that are actually going,
Getting on board
that are getting on board to go. Just here in Ghana alone, I mean,
sometimes we're shocked, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, we go to an event and then we'll just be like,
we were at an event.
sometimes we could be the minority in
Exactly.
Africa. Not like in general, but like
Yeah.
in a certain location, you're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, you know, and we're beyond seeing people for their colour. We realize that
It's not about, oh, they're here, it's a bad thing. It's about, you're telling us not to come here, but here you are. So
Basically.
when we go to places, these things stand out to us, because it's like, these are the people that are portraying to our older generation and to the people in the UK and America not to come here, but they're here enjoying the sun, enjoying the food, listening to the artists that are here, like, I'm fully enjoying it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like,
enjoying our culture.
It's hypocritical.
You know? And that's great. We love that. We're here for that. We're here for the inclusivity, as long as your heart is clean, as long as your heart is in the right place, you know, as long as that you understand, in fact, that you know that the actions of your ancestors were wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and you are in your way trying to make amends for that,
And
re-educate yourself and your children.
And it's like, honor us. Like, how are you going to put us down and then be in our country? Like,
That's
honor
exactly
us and
it.
give us our props.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When you go back, dispel the myth and the lies that your peers are putting out to the world. Because you're here. So, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's so hypocritical for you to be here but not give us our props. Do you know what I mean? And then go back and encourage.
You mean
that
discourage?
same,
Oh,
no,
which
encourage
way?
the same fears.
Yeah.
But yet you take all your holidays here. You got a second home here. You're doing business here. You're mining here. Like, you're here, innit? And I see you here. So, and this is just Ghana in West Africa. You know, going down to Southern Africa to, you know, South Africa.
Wow, that's a whole nother.
I mean, that's a whole nother ball game. But yeah. So, and when we're talking about media.
Yeah, so the propaganda that has obviously been portrayed about Africa by the media, it's the same people that came in the slave trade and took African people from their homes and had them in bondage as their property for over 400 years. So we have to understand the enemy that we're fighting right now,
The art of
guys.
war.
It's the same enemy. Like, there's no separation here. The same people that took us are the same people that are portraying Africa as being somewhere that you should be afraid to come back to. The question is, why? What's the motivation behind portraying Africa as being a place that we should be fearful of? When they're here, they took us from there. They had to come here to take us. Do you understand?
They had to come to this scary place to take us away, to then come back, to then tell you not to even think of, don't even look here.
Like we're filming here to show you how bad it is, and you know how much poverty there is, and
they're filming here to show you.
Yeah.
Who owns the media, basically? Do you know what I mean? CNN, BBC, all of these news media outlets. Who owns them?
Yeah.
The same
Follow
people
the money, guys.
that are telling you exactly. That's a great line. Follow the money, and you'll always find the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. So many people, especially in Western countries, have limited direct exposure to African cultures or diverse experience of its people. This lack of knowledge leads to the formation of myths, like we said, misconceptions, and more frankly, lies, as you like to say.
Yes.
Often driven by stereotypes and outdated, ignorant views. So many of the views that they have about Africa are outdated, not true at all, and just not right. Africa is extremely diverse continent. I think a lot of people don't, grasp this fact. It's a continent with 54 countries within that continent.
54.
Over 2,000 languages and various ethnic groups, tribes, climates, and cultures. However, many people outside Africa view continent as a monolith, so just one whole.
And they try to group us all, bang us in one pot and say, "Oh, you're African."
Yeah.
No.
It's like saying, "Oh, you're Asian," but yet within Asia there are so many different cultures and
It's
so many different people. And it's the same thing that we've been watching on Truth Unedited about. We are not black people, which is a good series to go and watch. Grouping people into one box, we are black people, when we're actually not black people. We are, we should be recognized for our heritage. Where you don't call, Chinese people by a color, you don't call, many cultures by a color.
You would just say, "Oh, Asian."
Yeah.
And like that whole group, like Asian.
Everyone's bunged into that.
Be specific, because how many countries are in Asia? It's disrespectful.
And when you do that, it creates a fear of the unknown in Africa. So people just don't know. So that they have the fear of the unknown. When 54 countries, that's 54 varieties of different people. Ghanaian, Nigerian, South African.
And then forgetting the tribes.
And then the tribes within that.
To be honest, what it is, you just sound stupid. You do. You sound stupid, you sound ignorant and foolish. Educate yourself.
It's really basic
it's
ignorance.
Not hard.
It's like, it's so ignorant, it's so basic. Even a child could figure this out if they were, taught correctly. Xenophobia.
Hey, can I get a go?
Oh, sorry, I'm reading them all. Go ahead.
I look so cute. You like reading now?
I do, I love it.
Yeah. Go on.
No, go ahead.
No, go on.
I want to hear your voice.
You love reading.
I want to hear your voice.
Babe, you always hear my voice. I don't know how to be quiet.
I want to hear your voice on camera. Not at home. Just now. Go on, speak.
Okay. So, fear of Africa can be a part of a broader xenophobia or fear of the other, and instinctive apprehension towards people, places, or cultures that are unfamiliar. Africa, being far away and culturally distinct, may evoke fear due to its unfamiliar. May evoke fear due to its unfamiliarity to outsiders.
Fear of Africa is often tied to racism and the construct of white supremacy, where African people or people of African descent are unfairly viewed as inferior or threatening. These biases are rooted in centuries of discrimination and straight up racism, leading some people to irrationally fear African people and cultures. So we highlight the in construct of white supremacy. Because this isn't some natural order. This is something that they constructed to elevate themselves and to well, to bring us down, to bring down everybody else, and to put themselves on a pedestal. And you know, white supremacy exists. It's just a fact. Even like just on a basic level, I remember when we came to Ghana, people were asking, why did you leave the UK? And we spoke about the racism, and people was like, no, it doesn't exist. You know.
Some people were like, and I mean, like, I'm not talking about any old people. I'm like, talking specifically about people with my same culture, right? So they're from the Caribbean, and they're like, basically, just get over it. Get over slavery, get over the whole thing, you know, forgive white people. And it's not just about forgiving, okay? It's, if we don't remember what has happened, the likelihood is that it's likely going to happen again. Okay, that's not to say that, well, the Father isn't in control of it all. But what I'm saying is we have free will also. And we, with our free will, together with the Father's will, can create the change and restore what is actually ours. And set the record straight, you know, speak the truth, to declare the truth, and no longer allow the lies to be propagated, and the misinformation, the disinformation, and the agendas of wicked and evil people to infiltrate the most innocent, our wealth, our children. This is why our children don't go to school, because I refuse to allow the same system that took us from our homes, kidnapped us, tore us away from our parents, and tore the children away from their parents, brought us to foreign lands and had us in slavery for hundreds of years. I'm not going to allow those same people to teach my children anything.
Teach them who they are.
Can you imagine?
This is a white supremacy system that we should put our children into their schools. That makes no sense to me. And it's even worse now. Do you know what I mean? It's propelled since we left, the racism and the school system. What they teach in schools now, they remove the Most High out of school. And you know, even just looking on the news now and seeing what's happening in the UK, I mean, it's going to the dogs, like straight up. The racism is not even, you know, behind closed doors or under gritted teeth. It's just blatantly on Sky News, BBC, people talking about their outward racism against, you know, immigration.
But they're giving it a new name now. It's called. It's immigrants, right?
Yeah, it's the immigrant thing, the twist they're trying to put on it.
Yeah, or people of colour.
Yeah,
you know?
But actually when these thugs are out on the road and they're destroying property, they're destroying the property of all people of, you know, of darker hues, should I say, melanated people. So yeah, the racism is so clear to see.
It's outrageous.
It's outrageous, and you know, when we were talking about it way back then, a lot of people, you know, now should have egg on their face. I think they actually know about it, but some people just really try to ignore it. Do you know what I mean? They try to ignore it. They're comfortable. Yeah. So if they admit that the racism is there, then
it means they have to do something.
They have to do something about it, and they have to come out of their comfort zone, and then they have to admit that, oh, maybe I should leave. But they don't want to leave because they're so comfortable in that environment, and then that makes them then, you know, propel what they've been told on the TV. Melanated people propelling the same propaganda as what the media teaches them because it suits their narrative or sticking in their comfort zone. So I ain't going to Africa. What am I doing in Africa? Like, Africa ain't got nothing for me. The crime rate, the this, the that. So, you know, you start doing the work of the media. You start doing that white supremacy work.
Because you've been indoctrinated.
Right.
You've been indoctrinated since your childhood, which is why, again, we don't send our children to the indoctrination place. We don't go to. They don't go to school for that exact reason.
The only one who's going to teach my children is me and my wife, and their experiences will teach them, you know, everything that they need to know. Okay, you go.
Where are we?
Yeah.
Okay. So historical outbreaks of diseases such as Ebola, HIV, AIDS, and malaria have contributed to fear of Africa as a place where diseases are rampant and uncontrollable. While some parts of Africa have faced health challenges, these fears are often exaggerated and do not reflect the reality of most people's daily lives here on the continent of Africa.
As far back as I can remember, I remember the adverts of the starving children on the TV and these hero white people that want to save them and want to raise money and sponsor a child.
I never saw our own people. My reflection,
out
saving
there.
and aiding and assisting. I never saw that.
And has there been famine in Africa? Most definitely, but it's been so exaggerated. And when it comes to the dis-ease, let's just break that down. The dis-ease that has come to Africa. Forget about the biological diseases, but just who has brought the dis-ease to Africa other than Caucasians and the people of the Western world? They have brought the dis-ease here. They bring the war. They bring all of that.
The divide and conquer
mentality. Yeah. So most of the wars that are happening, in Africa, civil wars.
The poisonous food.
Right. It's and this has been happening from way back before slavery, where they will come in, whisper to you about me, whisper to me about you. Now all of a sudden I feel some type of way towards you when we've been getting on fine for years and centuries, no issue. But here comes the white man with their guns and their whiskey and their, and they're trying to divide and conquer. And that is what they have been doing for many years. Like these diseases like Ebola, HIV, and all of these things, we know that these are man-made diseases made by which man? Made by which man? We didn't make it ourselves to kill ourselves.
And then infect our own people.
And infect our own people to destroy ourselves. It's like, who brought these diseases? Like, this is a signature of the Western world. This is a signature. This is like their
MO.
Their MO. This is like their go-to thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like biological warfare. This is their go-to thing, and yet we are still not waking up to realizing that.
And therefore, because we're not waking up and realizing it, and even if we do wake up, we're not, we're too afraid to do anything about it. It's just continuing. The cycle just perpetuates.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say what I was going to say till the end.
Okay, so when we came here to Ghana, I remember, we came in the middle of the pandemic. And, there was so much fear around and all this stuff. And then we went to Mokala Market. And we saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people without masks, rubbing shoulders, like itching up against everybody, like everybody's just rubbing shoulders. It was so rammed and crammed, and I was like, this is the middle of a pandemic. Remember, we were on the roof looking down, and seeing the sea of people and realizing that ain't nothing going on around here. Ain't nobody catching nothing around here. Ain't nobody wearing a mask around here. Like, it's just media portraying so much fear, which keeps people, in that bubble of fear, really.
Afraid.
Yeah, keeps people afraid. Yeah. Okay, I'll do this one. So, some travelers or outsiders fear Africa because of stories about crime, political instability, and conflict zones, which certain regions have experienced instability. Many African countries are safe, peaceful, and welcoming, yet the fear persists due to selective reporting and generalization. So this one really gets me. Like, when people talk about the crime in Africa.
And also the political instability. I'm like, sorry.
Nowhere's more unstable right now than I can think of a dozen Western countries that are unstable right now.
But it's always the Western countries' involvement in these countries and their political systems that causes the instability, because they want to put in power someone who's affiliated with their Western ideology and their agenda.
There's always an agenda.
Yeah, it's their agenda, and so that's what they support. So they support by doing what? They militarize, they weaponize, and they'll weaponize another. Yeah, they infiltrate. Thank you, honey. And they'll do all of that, and that is going to create civil war, obviously, in these countries, and therefore there will be conflict.
Conflict in the Congo right now is clear, is evidently, it is so obvious that the conflict in the Congo right now is about resources. is about who wants those resources and how they get those resources.
By
So
any means.
divide and conquer and creating distractions while you two are fighting each other over what? You don't even know. They're over there stealing, because that's how they get it. When they have an unstable economy, then they can go in there and create a solution. They give you a problem, then they give you a solution. In fact, they provide the problem. They provide the problem, they create the problem, and then they come and say, oh, we've got a solution for you. And because we have given you this solution,
now you owe us this.
now you must give me this, that, and the other.
my gosh.
Take our oil, sell it back to us at a higher rate, and take all the resources, rape, pillage, and steal everything from the African continent. That's every 54 countries within that continent, and that is the utmost truth, and I say that unapologetically. Simple. Crime rate, much lower than the West. Much lower than the West. I remember being in London, and every single day more than 10 people were being stabbed or shot. Every single day. Robberies left, right, and center. Like, the crime, murders, paedophilia, like all of these things were just an everyday thing to us, to where we were so desensitized to it. But then when we came to Ghana, I've not heard of one stabbing, not one shooting. I've heard of maybe 2 armed robberies of banks and shops. 2. That's it.
The scale is so small here. We're in Ghana, so
Let's start.
Like,
it's just a lie. It's just a lie. And until you come here and see for yourself, like, you will just believe the lie. You believe what you watch on BBC about these people that are out here, eating people, and like, we don't eat people. They eat people. That's just a fact. Like, that's just a simple fact. Like, Ghana is a beautiful place. The crime
there's no bloodthirst here.
There's no, like, do you know the saying here?
It's bloodthirstiness.
Do you know the
There's no
saying here
bloodthirst
is, we always ask the Ghanaians, like, they always tell us, should I say, that they're afraid of blood. So when they see blood, everybody runs, innit? Everybody runs. They don't want no problems. They don't want no problems. Like, no one don't want no problems out here. Like, I've not even seen a fight.
I've not seen a fight.
I've not even seen a fight.
You might get a few raised voices, but that is it.
I always say this: the most I've seen
barking.
is barking, and a man grab a man's chest, and then a man grab another man's chest, and that's it. It doesn't go no further than that.
Yeah, it doesn't escalate.
No punching, no kicking.
No one doesn't pick out, just grab out a
sword.
samurai sword and just
just be stabbing people. It
or
just
a
doesn't
cutlass,
happen.
or it doesn't happen.
It just doesn't happen. Like, very rarely do police have to get involved in conflict here. They have a saying where, let's settle for house, where they sit down like men with the chiefs or the elders and they settle for house.
Even when it comes to like theft and burglary, it's like going to the police is the absolute last resort. It's the last. It's like, is there any other way that we can resolve this?
Without bringing in the authorities.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if it's a serious crime, which practically nearly never happens here, you would do that. But most things can be resolved.
Yeah, petty crime.
You know what I mean?
Like that.
Where we in the West, what do? We just run to that white supremacy system of the Metropolitan Police. Oh, he did this, and it just gets blown out of proportion. Now, before you know it, someone's in jail for the pettiest thing, spending half their life in jail. It's just uncalled for, basically. So crime is non-existent, at least in Ghana and many other African countries. Not non-existent, but it's not like how people portray it to be.
It isn't.
Especially not those in my comments. They really have a fear of, the crime.
It's irrational.
Yeah.
Irrational fear.
It's just crazy, guys. Let's just get over it and just, seek the truth. You want to go again?
Okay. Africa is often perceived as a place of poverty and lack of opportunity, discouraging people from engaging with it, investing in it, or visiting. This fear of economic underdevelopment can deter interaction, even though many African nations are rapidly growing and have vibrant economies.
Oh.
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 Ah.
Ah. Guys, listen, there are parts of Ghana that look better than the UK. There are parts of Ghana that are more developed than the Americas. There are parts of Ghana that are absolutely beautiful. Like, I mean, there are ups and downs in every country. But when it comes to it's a fast developing country, Ghana is. Like, it's developing very fast. And the reason they're deterring you is because they're here, like taking up all the opportunities, building up all these skyscrapers.
We drove, right, the other day, regular day, we live in a very nice area in Accra, as the capital city of Ghana, and we just toured the block, right? Everything we need is within 3 blocks of our home. Now, we just toured the block, and for some reason it just got my attention today. We pass it every time, but I counted the amount of brand new developments, like
apartment blocks,
sky-rise apartment things. Like, some of them, there's so many floors you couldn't even count from looking at it. Maybe 20, maybe more, right? Some of them.
Way more than 20.
Yeah. And I was just like, there was about 8 in a block, in one block. And I was like, only on further analysis, and you go, some of them are Ghanaian owned, definitely, but
No,
I can tell you the
them.
vast majority of them are
Foreign owned.
foreign developers. I'm telling you, wake up, wake up. People are investing in your home.
Do you know
Imagine living in a house. This is what it's like. Imagine your house right now, and a foreign stranger just decides to come into your house and be like, you know what, I'm going to refurbish your house for you. I'm going to refurbish this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to add value to your house. And you're like, oh, okay, this is lovely of you. Oh my gosh, like, that's so kind of you. And then you wake up and you realize, but what's the catch? What's the catch, guys? What's the catch? You're enjoying it because you're living there, but what do you think is going to happen when they want a return on their investment?
Do you know what annoys me about these foreign investments is the extortion.
That's the catch.
They
See?
are capitalizing.
There we go.
They are capitalizing
Extortion.
on the ones that this video doesn't even relate to, the ones that don't have the fear of Africa, the ones that are coming here. You know, the African Americans that are coming here, the British that are coming here, melanated British people that are coming here because they know that Africa is the place to be. We're being extorted.
Prepare yourself well. Prepare yourself.
Prepare yourself.
If you want to live to the standard, or that you may live in the West currently, or if you want to live to a higher standard, that you want to come here and elevate your class. I can't think of a better
Guys,
word.
let me just give you the numbers. Let me give you the numbers. Like, I know an apartment block. I'm not even gonna say the name of the apartment block, but there is over, let's just say there's way more, probably double, but let's just say 100 apartments in there. Yeah, and these apartments are going for no less than $2,000 for a 1-bedroom and up to $5,000 for a 3-bedroom apartment. For $5,000, you do the maths, 5,000 times 100 apartment, and they know that they have it right now. They monopolized it because they know that Ghana is not as developed to where there is so much nice apartments all over the place. You know,
the standard inside, like, you know, like the finish.
Right.
Yeah,
They know that the finish is not that great in Ghana yet. So they're taking full advantage. So then when we come here expecting to have the same quality that we're accustomed to, that we're used to, well, be prepared to pay 4,000 to 5,000, 3,000, pounds or dollars, should I say, per month. And they're not trying to give it to you in CDs, because it would just sound ludicrous if they told you that you had to pay in excess of 60,000 CDs for 1 month's rent. Like, if we told a Ghanaian
and wanting multiple months in advance.
Right. You told a Ghanaian that's what you're paying, like, they would actually faint.
Yeah.
And probably try and drag you around, town, trying to find you something much cheaper, and gain a commission. So just do the maths on what's happening here. In these buildings, that's just one. There are hundreds of them going up in Accra. at the moment. They're all over the place.
All foreign investors from Eastern Europe, like there's Turkish ones, there's Lebanese ones,
Indian.
There's so many going up, Arab, like Chinese, and there's so many. Like it's
frustrating.
And not only that as well, it's like the activities. You know, like for example, things to do with your children. There's an Italian-owned event space, right? I'm not going to say the name of it because we're not here to promote them. But what they're charging for the children to just use their roller skates indoors, it's outrageous.
It's ridiculous.
It's outrageous, like 250 CDs per child for 2 hours. Like they've completely priced out at least 98% of Ghanaians with that price. It's unobtainable for, you know, the average person. But yet they're in Africa, they're in Ghana, and I just feel like they exploit and they take advantage. Not to mention when they hire staff. That I don't like. The way when they're hiring their staff, their establishments, great. I'm here, like, you know, we support a lot of foreign-owned businesses, restaurants, and that kind of thing. You know, we don't discriminate with who we spend our money with, up until we see how they treat their staff. And
that could be a game changer for us. That's like, okay, that's how you treat your staff. Okay, we would actually try and find the staff somewhere else for them to work. Do you know what I mean? How are they treating you right here? How much are they paying you? Like, are you happy to put up with this kind of? Do you know what I mean? It's like speaking to them.
And even hotels as well.
Let's not even speak about the hotels. It's just ridiculous. But they deter us from Africa so that they can be here mining and raping our resources, and not just, you know, raping our resources, but also our people. Like taking our people, like you said, the staff is, you know, they're just exploiting the staff.
But
and also,
they have so many and they're underpaying them. That's what I meant as well.
Yeah, they're being underpaid. And then let's not, you know, this is a big subject, but the adoption of African children by Westerners has become some sort of trend now.
Yeah, like, I've seen a lot of it.
It's become some sort of trend. It's kind of like, why? Like, I ask myself why. It seems quite, you know, like, it makes you feel uneasy. It doesn't seem genuine why this is so much of a trend now that these Caucasian Westerners, let me just say it for what it is, now want to adopt melanated children. And we know you know, we're speaking about how the West feels about Africa and what they say about Africa. So why is it you want to come here now and adopt our children? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
As opposed to supporting
the
families. You know what I mean? Like all those resources that you have to come here, go through the whole adoption process. And I'm talking about what I've just seen online. And no, I'm talking about I've had conversations with white families, like the parents and stuff, but they feel comfortable talking to me because obviously I'm a British sounding
you're receptive.
Diaspora, right? So there's a certain level of comfort and ease that I give them for them to be able to open up to me and tell me they've been here trying to adopt a Ghanaian child for like
months and months and months.
No, babe, 2 years.
2 years. Wow.
2 years. The wife has separated from the husband because
the struggle.
The mum is here by herself as a single mom trying to adopt this little boy, but the rest of her children that she gave birth to are at home with the husband in America. I'm just like,
why?
With all that money and resources that you're spending, living in this apartment complex, I know how much it costs to live there because I live there. You could have just put those resources into supporting the child, his community. You could have built an orphanage.
There's an agenda to this.
Yeah, there is definitely an agenda.
I know what the agenda is, but I'm not going to speak on it today.
Yeah.
But this is what you get when you come to Life with the Kings. You're going to get the raw truth. We're going to stand in the Most High, which is the truth. We're going to stand in, you know, equality. We're going to stand in our integrity, and we're going to tell you the truth. So at this point, I ask you to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, subscribe, like, and share this video, just so that, you know, more people get to know, and also we are spreading the glory of the Most High. It's the Most High that gives us most of our information and the courage and the wisdom to step up before you and to speak the truth. Because not everybody can speak the truth out here because of fear. Because
with authority.
Of fear. With authority. We stand in supreme authority and we speak these words. So like, share and subscribe.
Please.
Okay. Let's move on. The cultural differences between African countries and the rest of the world may be intimidating for some, especially when it comes to languages, customs, and traditions. Fear of not understanding or being able to integrate into African societies can cause people to stay away. Now, this brings me to a topic of, you know, us living in a tent in the village and how people responded to that, and, you know, it was just fear, like, you don't know what you're doing, going into that.
Minds are like this tiny, like
blinkers.
guys,
Not even blinkers like this, blinkers like this.
like, open your mind. Oh, we're doing it. How about that? You know, like, I get that you feel like we can't, but guess what? We're doing it. Like, it's already happening.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys, like, just be about it. Do you know what I mean? And if you want to sit there from, you know, the UK or America, then that's fine. But
Hang
just
on, where are we?
here.
No, but I didn't mention that part what you're about to mention. That's about this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, just, you know, like, we're just being about it. We're just being about it. We are get up and go kind of people. We're the people that move in faith. So, you know, when it comes to integrating into African societies, yes, there are going to be cultural differences. Yes, there are going to be things that we don't like, and there may be things that we love. There's going to be things they don't like about us.
Yeah.
As, you know, coming from a Western world, like as people that have been captured for so long and have bad habits. Now we're bringing this to the African continent. Do you know what I mean? That could be frowned upon, but I know that there's this, you know, people sometimes fear, you know, just the unknown of African cultures. And I would just say, you know, get out and experience it. Get out and experience it.
Yeah.
Because if
live.
If other cultures can come here and integrate, and not only integrate, but do business, so much business that they feel comfortable enough to exploit, then why can't we just come here and integrate and live as one?
Yeah. And, you know, if you can't do it for yourselves, please do it for your children. Or do it for your grandchildren. Please, you know? Like, they deserve the opportunity, but that's what it is. It really is a life-changing opportunity to experience something outside of Babylon, that Western... guys, it's not even our natural habitat.
It's not.
Just that alone, it's not our natural habitat.
It's like a polar bear in the Sahara. Do you know what I mean? It's just a fish out of water.
It's stifling. You can't reach your full potential in that place. I don't care how successful you think you are, you have not reached your full potential because you are in enemy territory.
And at any given time, they can take it away.
Of course.
It could just be taken away from you through lies, through anything. It could just be taken away because, you know, you are less than in their eyes. And that's just a fact.
So, among some members of the African diaspora, particularly in the Caribbean or the Americas, there may be a deep-seated fear or hesitation to reconnect with Africa. This fear could be a result of generational trauma, stemming from slavery, colonialism, and the historical dehumanization of African people. Some people fear being seen as outsiders when returning to Africa. So, first of all, I just want to show compassion because obviously I know we can be very direct and assertive, right, when we're talking, because really we're trying to trigger something in you. You know, we're trying to give you an anointed agitation, and you just feel like, what? I'm gonna do it, and then it watch. Yeah, that's what we want. That you bring that energy, yeah, because we know that you have it. Because we're no different to you. You know who you are. We're talking to you. Okay, we are children of the Most High. Yeah, we serve a Father who is the supreme. He is the supreme authority on everything. It's His will over everything. So we know that we share that DNA with you, right? So we know that it's just a matter of time before you wake up and realize like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Like, let me bounce. So yeah, that's what we're trying to do, okay? So with that being said, showing that compassion, like, this is for you. Receive it as that. It's for you.
The fear of, the fear of feeling like an outsider in Africa. I've seen that, narrative being played out that, Africans don't like Americans and, or don't like the diaspora.
Yeah.
And, it's just like, it's another propaganda. It's another divide and conquer tactic. It's that thing where they play each other off against each other to propel that hate and that division. And you just got to come to Africa and see for yourself. Come and speak to a Ghanaian, come and speak to a Tanzanian, come and speak to a South African. Do you know what I mean? Just come and speak to somebody. Just come on a holiday and see for yourself if, stop going to Spain and bloody Magaluf and all of these crazy places and drinking your life away in their
culture.
That's
their culture.
Under their habits, do you know what I mean? And because they don't like you there. I can tell you, I've done the whole Iron Apple thing. They do not like you there. Like, I know, I have inside information from the people that are there. They do not like you there. Here, you are welcome. You are welcome. Does Africa have its, issues? Most definitely. Like, you're not going to be welcome everywhere you go. Just like you ain't welcome everywhere you go at home, where you're at right now. But people are people. And that's people all over the world. But don't be generalizing the whole continent or the whole country because, the white man tells you that, they don't like Africans or, they told you not to like, they don't like Americans, but remember they told you not to like Africans. So why are you then going to listen to them as truth that, you're not liked? Well, come out and see. Come out and see for yourself. Do you know what I mean? So, divide and conquer. Divide and conquer. That's the tactic of the enemy.
And
go on.
The only way to really overcome your fear and the generational trauma that caused the fear in the first place, right, is to come out of your comfort zone. We said it, we touched on it before, but that's really the call to action. Step outside of your comfort zone. We totally understand why that is a very daunting thing to do.
Because you're comfortable.
Yeah, but I promise you, if you have any kind of ambition, because not everybody does. Some people are just meant to be where they are, and that's fine, right? But if you have been called, and you have been called by the Father, please be obedient. And that obedience looks like you stepping out of your comfort zone and stepping into faith. Okay? In order to step out of fear, we have to step into faith. We've got to have to replace one with the other.
Faith and fear can't exist in the same realm. They can't. It's either one or the other. You're either in fear or you're in faith. And in order to, everything you require is on the other side of fear. I can promise you that. That's been proven. Everything you require. I ain't gonna say I didn't have a bit of fear going into the bush with my family living in a tent.
Definitely.
But I had to step out in faith. I had to step out in faith. Even Ghanaians used to come to the bush. Remember, they'd be looking around like, oh, you live here, because they were full of fear. But, showing people that it could be done is the reason why many people were inspired by our move and tried to do the same thing. But if you're not full of faith, you've got to be full of unwavering faith, crazy faith, supernatural faith that will carry you through anything. But the minute you let fear and doubt creep in is the minute you trip, stumble, fall, and
So I can hear my brothers and sisters asking, but faith in what? Faith in what? Faith in the unknown? No, faith in the Father. Have faith in the Father.
Not even in yourself.
Please, no, don't do that, because you're going to end up leading on understanding.
The flesh is
do
weak.
not do that. Faith in the Father. Let me tell you something. There are so many of you who already are probably going to see this video at some point and felt or feel like Daniel and I were the ones who you should put your faith in. Or maybe you did put your faith in us. Unfortunately, that was the wrong decision. You shouldn't have done that, because we didn't put our faith in any man or woman or anything outside of us. We put our faith in our Father. And
in the Most High Yah.
Yeah.
Let's just get it clear.
Yes, thank you, honey.
Yeah.
And that is what has seen us through every trial, every tribulation, everything, you know, the fearfulest times, the joyful times. He's just been there consistently through it all.
And still there. Still hasn't forsaken us. Still hasn't left us. Like, still there, working miracles in our life. And you know, and he told us in the beginning, I've said this a few times, that, you know, this YouTube page, this whole Life with the Kings thing will be a testimony to his glory in our life, and that we should continue to do it, because we will inspire people to make the move. We'll inspire people to come back into the covenant of the Most High. And you know, that ultimately is our mission. Our mission on earth is to bring people back into the covenant of the Most High. You know what I mean? Through repentance, through healing,
through obedience,
through counsel,
through faith.
Through faith. Hallelujah. Through faith. I don't think we need to go there. Yeah. Okay. So let's get on to some conclusions.
Yes.
Like, how do we overcome this fear? I mean, we just spoke about it by having faith in the Father, but let's just, you know, go to the points that we've made here. One of the most effective ways to overcome the fear of Africa is through education, obviously. Learning about African history, its vast cultures, achievements, and the diverse realities of life on the continent can help dispel the myths and reduce the fear and eradicate the lies.
Yes.
Media outlets, filmmakers, content creators have a role to play. Not only a role to play, but a responsibility. Ta-da! Just hands. Like, we have a responsibility in changing the narrative. Changing the narrative. Big up. What's the short guy here that does his thing? The content creator. The biggest content creator in Ghana. What's his name? Wode Myers. There you go. Wode Myers. Like, you know, people like him have a responsibility of the narrative they're painting of Africa. Like, we have a responsibility, and it's not like just painting it all pretty, like some people like to say we do. It's not. It's about
complexities.
It's showing both sides. Do you know what I mean? It's showing the good, the bad, the ugly. Do you know what I mean? Just like, you know, I will tell you about the good, the bad, the ugly of the West, because there are good things about the West that I am bringing to Africa, and there's also bad things that I left behind. So, you know, we have a responsibility. So if you're a filmmaker out there, a content creator, or you have a media outlet, it's your responsibility to showcase Africa's beauty, the innovation, the development, and the potential that Africa as a continent, 54 countries, has. It's your responsibility. Why are you not doing it? Especially if you're out here on the continent, document your journey. Like, document it, showcase it.
Let's bombard the web and social media with just beautiful images and positive images of Africa and the countries within Africa and the differences. Let's highlight our differences, because it's good.
And it's not just about coming to Ghana. There, like I said, there's 54 countries. Do you know what I mean? There's people in Tanzania, there's people in Kenya. Like, you can make a change and go to Uganda and put Uganda on the map.
Go somewhere else. I'm not saying don't come here, but try somewhere new.
Spread out, because we need to anchor. We spoke about this in the last video about anchoring Africa, anchoring it so that we're able to bring the kingdom and pull it down. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So it's bringing that kingdom down. And you know, if we're all pulling from one side, then we're just going to make the kingdom tip. We need to bring it down gradually and anchor ourselves north, east, south, and west. Programs like Ghana Zero Return, similar initiatives across Africa encourage people of African descent to reconnect with their roots, explore the continent, and build lasting cultural, economic, and personal ties. These efforts can help reduce fears by fostering understanding and mutual respect. Now, I'm not just going to say, oh yeah, the year of the turn was a great thing. Like, my thing is year of return to what? That was my little slogan, because I don't think it was done correctly.
Which is fair enough, but it was done.
But it was done.
And we appreciate the sentiment
That
and the
it was
initiative
done.
to do it.
Right.
Because 400 years of the curse of
Right.
slavery was up. So thank you for just highlighting that for the world to know.
And people can put it down, but it's like, you know, you put in this point here.
Yeah.
Put up or shut up.
Right.
It's like,
People got too much to say, and they're not doing anything. Like, where are your fruits? Where's the action? Where's the follow through? It's all well and easy to sit behind the keyboard, my keyboard warriors, and to type your unnecessary or
Negatives.
unwanted opinions about what those of us on the ground are actually living, doing, breathing, working for. Like, a lot of us are out here trying to make it easier.
pave the way.
Right, as pioneers, trying to make it easier for the next wave and the next family and the next individuals that are coming from the diaspora back to the motherland, back to Africa, back to the Ghana, for example, right? And yeah, I just feel like if you're not going to be supportive, that's fine. You don't have to support. But if you're not going to be supportive, then please be silent. If you can't be positive and you have nothing positive to say, then just shh and don't say anything at all.
Say nothing. Say nada.
Yeah.
Say nada.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, just put up or shut up, basically. Because sometimes, you know, we just have to speak life into
Yes,
things.
the power of your tongue.
Words
We
are
powerful.
spells, and you know, we just need to understand. And this is the thing: when you don't know who you are, like you don't know where you're going, you don't even know what you're saying. Like you're just talking because you know you think there's some Netflix series. Like so, you know. Anyway, have faith. This is you, baby. Tell them. Have faith. We kind of spoken it already.
Yeah, we really did. And let me just see. I just want to encourage every one of my brothers and my sisters and my little brothers and my little sisters to travel. Encourage your parents, children, okay? So this is what my baby did this to me before we came to Ghana. Every day they'll be like, Mommy, are we going yet? Mommy, are we going yet? Mommy, can we go to Ghana now? Mommy, can we go to Ghana now? Like every opportunity they had, they would talk to me about Ghana and relating it back to Ghana and this thing about Ghana and that thing. Can we buy this? We'll use this in Ghana. I'm like, okay. And it's really helping. Like even now, they do it now. They're always excited about seeing more of Africa and they want to go see the Big Five on safari, and it motivates me. So as a parent, I'm telling you, your mom, your dad, they need that. They need to know that, wow, if my child is saying this, then maybe I need to pay attention, you know?
The way they spoke about Africa before we left Africa was like,
I feel like the father.
we can't change our mind now.
Yeah, because their hopes are up. They've put faith in us to even get them there, to give them this life, to give them that experience. And so yeah, I'm really speaking to, because you know I'm speaking to, you know, you young people, teenagers, even 8-year-olds. My son is 8. I have a 6-year-old too. Even that age, I'm talking to you. You have so much power. Please, I want you to believe that you have power, okay? You have influence. You can influence your parents for good, okay? Encourage your parents.
And Mommy, I saw Life with the Kings and they were talking about this. Why are we not going? Why are we here? Mom, I see you stressed every single day.
Yeah.
I see you working your butt off every single day and I don't see growth. Like...
And then I want you to actually do something more, because that's talking, all right? But I also want you to then do something. Like, I want you to help your parents. Don't stress them out, okay? Be obedient. If they ask you to do something, do it. If you know it's something that you're meant to do every day, then don't wait to be told. Show the initiative. Do what you need to do. If you still have to go to school, okay, I understand, you know, we all have to do things that we don't want to do sometimes. But it's gonna allow your parents to see that you're making the effort and you're contributing to the dreams of your family, the goals of your family. And also for them to take you more seriously, because if they can see that you can be responsible with the things that they have given you, with your responsibilities, you know, making sure that your room is tidy, making sure that you're doing your homework, helping out around the house, wash the dishes, prepare a meal. When you're showing them that you're taking your own life more seriously, they're gonna they'll take you more seriously, and they'll start to listen to you. They'll start to ask you your opinion about certain things. They'll start to take your advice. Not to say like you have the authority on what they do, no. But you do have a say, you do have an input, and believe it or not, they actually care. It's just that most of your parents right now are overwhelmed. Okay, so they're overwhelmed and they're stressed because they live in an environment that they're not supposed to be in.
It causes them to just to just kind of put themselves under these vices. Do you know what I mean? To cope. It causes them to just cope, to numb the pain, and to just cope with what, you know, the West is throwing at them.
And the stress of life.
The stress and it's just too much. It's just too much. You know, as a last word or as a last point, I just want to encourage everybody to travel. Whether it's to the continent of Africa, just to travel. Just because it does so much for confidence. You know, me myself, like, you know, just having the confidence to go and travel by myself. Like, it's something I overcame, right? I had to overcome. I was like, now I want my wife with me. But just the confidence to travel by myself.
Like, don't leave me.
It just gives you so much confidence. It gives you so much confidence. And you realize that, oh, you know, it's not so bad here. When I wanted to go to Zimbabwe, they said, don't go to Zimbabwe. Don't go this, that. And I went to Zimbabwe by myself, and I was, you know, overwhelmed with the love that I received from people. And the people were telling me that, oh, we're so grateful that you came, brother, because we know that they tell you not to come. They know that they tell you not to come, and they were just so grateful to just see me there. Do you know what I mean? They don't know me, but they're just so grateful to see me there. So travel is the best education for your children, I can tell you that. It's the best experience in education. Because it dispels the lies and the myths and what the media tells us. It just, you know, eradicates it. And, you know, we can do so much, but actually taking them through that experience is a whole next, you know, it's just a beautiful thing.
It is.
Yeah, so I encourage you all to travel.
Yeah. And until you can physically get on the plane and travel around and come to the beautiful continent of Africa, watch YouTube. Watch YouTube. Like, allow your mind to be transported. Allow your imagination to be activated so that you can start to visualize and imagine, literally imagine yourself. Because trust me, before you physically be in that destination, you're mentally already there, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people we've spoken to had the same experience as us. They're like, I've already left. I've already left the UK. Like, I'm not even there anymore. I don't think anything about it. Everything I do, focus on, all my energy goes into where I'm trying to get to. And write a list.
And the Father, like, he doesn't want you to come to him half-hearted, one foot in, one foot out. And I've realized that when you're coming to Africa, it's the exact same thing. Don't come 1 foot in and 1 foot out. Like, if you're coming on a holiday, that's a completely different thing. Come on a holiday, go back, do what you're doing. But if you're coming to Africa to relocate, remember there's 54 countries here. You don't have to stay in the first place you come to. But I see the statistics with the 300 clients that we have dealt with and families. The statistics say those that completely let go of the West, those are the ones that make it here. Those are the ones that thrive here. Those that, oh, I'm just gonna keep my house there just in case. Oh, I'm just gonna keep this just in case.
They don't thrive.
Like they don't thrive because they've got some just in case. So the minute they see something they don't like over here, it's not like, oh, well, I've got to deal with it. Our motto was, well, I'd rather struggle here than struggle there. And that's what kept us going.
It's like going all in.
We just went all in.
You go all in, you play big, you win big.
You play big, that's it. You play big, you win big. So we put our hand all the way in, and, you know, we're winning in that area. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, 1 foot in, 1 foot out is not gonna cut it. Unless you're going on a holiday, just have faith. Like, take a leap of faith. Remember who walked on the water towards the Messiah?
Was it Peter?
I can't remember. But when he had a doubt, chung, you'll drown. You'll drown with doubt. You'll drown.
Straight to drowning.
No, you'll drown. You'll drown. You won't sink, you'll drown and dead. So go all out, guys. Go all out. Speak positivity over your life. And bring it back to the Father, because when you move with the Father, when you move in faith, well, who can come against you? Who can come against you if you're walking with the Father? Who can come against you when you're walking with the Most High Yah? Nobody, even when it looks like it. Even when it looks like the enemy is getting one hand over you, really not. I can tell you this by experience. Obstacles, you jump them, you let them go. You'll laugh about it a year later or a few months later. You'll laugh about it and say, good riddance, do you know what I mean?
And then you have a testimony.
Hey, then you can testify.
Yeah, because there ain't no test. Nope.
There ain't no testimony without the test. On that note, guys, that was our, the fear of Africa. Let's just have faith in Africa.
Yes.
Let's have faith in Africa and the continent.
Yes. I think we changed the title. It should be Fear of Africa or Faith in Africa. Like, we'll split screen it.
Yeah.
And then we'll have one fear and that one
So why don't you be fear and I'll be faith?
Why have I got to be fear?
Come on, thumbnail. You be fear.
Okay.
I'll be, because you did the fear face.
Good, yeah.
I'll be like.
Yeah, okay, ready?
Go. Perfect. Okay, and I'm keeping this in. This is how we do our content creation. I'm keeping this in.
No, we never usually do a thumbnail. And I'm
we
don't.
Oh, but we just did one. We always create thumbnails from.
But I feel like let me do the faith, and you do fear.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a hard one. Which one do you think we should use? Leave it in the comments. Well, you're already gonna see, but which one did you prefer?
We can put it in the outtakes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can put it in there.
You as faith, me as fear, or me as fear, you as faith.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Most High over everything, guys.
Hallelujah. We give you all the glory.
We give you all the glory, and I pray that you all have a blessed day and that you return to the motherland very, very soon, because Babylon is falling. Repent and bring it back to the Most High Yah. Come back into His covenant and be obedient. You can do it today. Don't matter what your life looks like. You do it. Right now.
Okay.
Right now.
We love you.
Love you.
We love you. And know that our Father loves you so much more.
Indeed.
All right.
Hallelujah.
Bye.
Peace.